quickly that Young Dolph was going to be a star, and so Gotti waged war with him through music.
The man at the center of all of this, again, Hernandez Govan, who's facing charges for first-degree murder, conspiracy, and attempted first-degree murder in connection to the shooting death of Memphis rapper Young Dolph.
But at the same time, now he in hide mode because he can't even push that agenda. No, he can't sell no music. He can't sell it.
It's been nearly 4 years since Young Dolph was gunned down, and the courtroom just dropped a bombshell. The biggest mystery still looms. Where is Yo Gotti? Hernandez Govan, the man accused of setting up the hit, has had his trial pushed back again and again, sparking fresh waves of speculation all across Memphis and the hip-hop scene. And get this, after Gotti's brother, Big Juke, was killed and new developments shook the case, Yo Gotti suddenly went low-key. He's backed away from the spotlight, vanished from social media, and hasn't addressed a single thing. No charges have hit him, but that silence? It's loud. Both the courtroom and the internet are screaming the same question. Where is Yo Gotti? With online whispers growing louder, the streets want answers. Meanwhile, Gotti has stayed completely quiet, even as shocking pretrial hearings unfolded. Govan stood in front of a Memphis judge and made statements that went viral in seconds. But even then, he never dropped Yo Gotti's name. Hernandez Govan's cryptic talk about private convos and possible money motives lit the internet on fire. Right after that, fans were all asking the same thing. Where is Yo Gotti? In the weeks that followed, the CMG boss started fading from view. He ditched big appearances, skipped out on interviews, and even ghosted promo events, including ones featuring his star artist, Moneybagg Yo. For someone who used to flood social media with flashy lifestyle clips and nonstop label wins, this sudden silence felt weird.
Year-old Hernandez Govan, who was just indicted in the rap star slaying, along with Johnson and Cornelius Smith, once lived.
Fans noticed right away. Gotti's Instagram, usually packed with daily stories and new uploads, went ice cold. No updates, no stories, no press coverage, just nothing. His last post stayed frozen while the comment section exploded with wild theories and demands for answers. YouTube creators jumped on it, hip-hop bloggers broke it down, and Reddit threads blew up. People were time-stamping every word Govan said in court, trying to decode it all. Hashtags started trending. Where is Yo Gotti? You CMG. And the internet wasn't letting up. Silence during the Young Dolph trial started raising eyebrows in fan circles, especially in Memphis, Atlanta, and other CMG hot zones. Even Yo Gotti's tightest crew kept their heads down. His business partner and CMG's co-manager, who's usually front and center during album rollouts, went totally quiet. And Black Youngsta, who's known for wild online antics and a no-filter vibe, not a peep from him either. But this isn't just about legal paperwork or court drama. The real heat comes from how quiet things have gotten. In Southern hip-hop, where loud is normal, this kind of silence hits different. Down here, staying quiet during legal firestorms doesn't just protect reputations, it sends messages. Some folks say it's smart. Others think it's a warning. Let's be real. Yo Gotti hasn't been charged, named, or even hinted at in any official court docs tied to Young Dolph's murder, but none of that stops the street talk. The optics? Heavy.
2 months after Govan's daughter, 25-year-old Destiny Govan, an up-and-coming rapper by the name of Lotta Cash Desto, was fatally shot.
This is the same man who once shouted, "I am Memphis," and ran the scene with full control. Now, he's MIA. And in today's digital world, being missing just fuels more talk. The blogs are heating up, fan theories are stacking, and Yo Gotti's silence, that's become the loudest headline of all. Chapter 2. Who really is Hernandez Govan? Before his name was splashed across headlines, Govan was just another name floating in Memphis, unknown to most, but not to law enforcement. Behind the scenes, this man had been on the radar for years. Cops knew his name long before the world did. At first, he wasn't seen as a key player in the shocking murder of Young Dolph. But everything flipped in late 2022. That's when prosecutors dropped a bomb, revealing Govan as way more than just background noise. In November 2022, a grand jury hit him with 3 heavyweight charges: first-degree murder, attempted first-degree murder, and conspiracy to commit first-degree murder. According to Shelby County DA Steve Mulroy, Govan is the one who allegedly called the shots. They say he orchestrated the entire hit that left Young Dolph dead outside Makita's homemade cookies on November 17, 2021. But get this, they're not saying he pulled the trigger. Prosecutors claim he was behind the scenes, making moves, coordinating everything from a distance. Court filings paint him as the one who lined it all up, connecting the dots, setting the timing, and putting the killers in position.
Govan, one of the prime suspects in the rapper's death, is now out of jail on a $90,000 bond.
And was previously held without bond. Prosecutors and his defense came to an agreement to grant bond today with conditions.
If that's true, he wasn't just involved. He was the mastermind. Govan's indictment came almost a full year after Young Dolph's death, showing just how deep this investigation really went. Authorities had to dig through layers of info, connect complex dots, and peel back a whole web of connections before they made their move. By the time those charges hit, Hernandez Govan wasn't just some random name in Memphis. He was already known locally as the father of LA Cash Dato, a rising female rapper who had ties to Lil Uzi Vert. But tragedy hit twice. In September 2022, just weeks before Govan got indicted, Dato, whose real name was Destiny Govan, was shot and killed in Houston, Texas. Now, Houston police haven't connected her killing to the Dolph case, but the back-to-back violence, it had people talking fast. Online, some circles started whispering about whether the two events were linked. Still, no official source has confirmed any connection. But in the court of public opinion, this double tragedy sent shockwaves. Turns out law enforcement had their eyes on Govan for months before his arrest, and the proof is in the public records. Prosecutors say they've got receipts, cell phone data, text messages, and even recorded convos they claim link him to key players involved in planning Young Dolph's murder. The full wiretap evidence hasn't been dropped yet, but the feds insist it shows Govan was deep in those behind-the-scenes talks. Even with those serious charges, first-degree murder, attempted murder, and conspiracy, Govan pled not guilty. And believe it or not, he's been out on bond. That $90,000 release in early 2023 made a lot of noise. Dolph's supporters and Memphis locals were not happy, especially since he's been spotted moving around under strict GPS monitoring and limits on public appearances. In court, Govan's legal team has stayed firm, saying there's zero physical evidence placing him at the crime scene and no proof he gave the green light. But prosecutors are painting a totally different picture. To them, Govan was the mastermind pulling strings from the shadows, the one who allegedly set the trap that ended in Dolph's deadly ambush. Right now, the full stack of evidence is still sealed tight, locked away from the public eye. But bits and pieces leaking through courtroom summaries, legal motions, and select media coverage have only made the buzz around Govan louder. His name stays front and center in a murder case that's still sending shockwaves through the hip-hop world. Chapter 3. Courtroom Chaos. What did Hernandez Govan really say? When Govan pulled up to one of his earliest major court hearings, most folks thought it'd be the usual legal routine, pleas, bond talk, and boring motions. But instead, the courtroom lit up with drama. What happened next grabbed national attention and sparked wild internet theories all over again about who else might be tied to Young Dolph's murder. During a 2023 bond hearing, Govan's team pushed for lower bail, pointing out that he turned himself in and had kept a clean record while awaiting trial. But the real headline? A cryptic statement Govan reportedly made in open court. According to legal bloggers and people in the room, Govan dropped a mysterious hint, suggesting that other people with influence were also mixed up in the events that led to Dolph's death. That one line, it set the internet on fire. Govan didn't drop any names, but the way he said it, that was enough to light a fire. His vague mention of others with influence sent social media into overdrive. That single line turned into a viral storm, popping up in YouTube deep dives, Reddit threads, and reaction videos everywhere. Fans and internet detectives couldn't stop dissecting it,
testifying cell phone towers around Crosstown Concourse, where Johnson lived, the gas station where he picked up the stolen white Mercedes used in the murder, Makita's Cookies, where Young Dolph was killed, and the apartment where he went after the shooting, all showed his phone made contact with the cell phone towers.
While the buzz grew online, Govan's legal team stayed busy in court. They pointed to his cooperation with law enforcement and the personal pain he'd already faced, especially the heartbreaking murder of his daughter, rising rapper Lotta Cash Desto, just weeks before he was indicted. His lawyer said he wasn't a flight risk and begged the judge for compassion. But the Shelby County DA's office wasn't having it. Led by District Attorney Steve Mulroy, prosecutors clapped back hard. They pointed to sealed evidence and warned the court that letting Govan out could be dangerous, not just for the public, but for possible witnesses too. Behind closed doors, they were making it clear. They see Govan as a serious threat, and they're not taking any chances. According to multiple media outlets, federal agencies were keeping tabs on parts of the case, meaning this thing runs way deeper than what's been shared with the public. Prosecutors told the court they were worried that if Govan walked free, he could reach out to others allegedly tied to the plot, and possibly mess with the investigation while it's still active. They even hinted, without naming names, that more people could end up facing charges. But no one knows exactly how far the state is willing to go, since they've kept most of the details sealed. At that point, the judge wasn't taking any chances. Govan's bond request was shut down, not just because of the heavy charges, but also because of the possible ripple effects. Still, after more back and forth, he did eventually get granted bond. But outside the courtroom, Govan's strange and loaded courtroom comment took on a life of its own. Some fans are convinced he was pointing to a bigger conspiracy behind Dolph's murder. Others think it's just a matter of time before bigger names from Memphis's rap scene get pulled into the spotlight. Still, let's be clear, Govan never said any names. And as of now, no confirmed connection has been made between his comment and any high-profile figures, including Yo Gotti or anyone tied to CMG. Neither the court nor Govan's defense team has made that link. Govan's team dropped a full transcript of his cryptic courtroom comment, but there's been zero follow-up or explanation since. Still, the impact, massive. What might have been a sneaky legal tactic exploded into pure internet chaos. That single moment turned Govan's hearing into more than just court business. It opened the floodgates to all kinds of wild speculation. And while prosecutors haven't confirmed or denied anything about that mysterious remark, the online world didn't wait. Chapter 4. CMG Under Fire. The internet starts connecting dots. Collective Music Group, better known as CMG, is Yo Gotti's powerhouse label. With heavyweights like Moneybagg Yo, 42 Dugg, ESTG, Glorilla, and Black Youngsta on the roster, CMG has been running Southern hip-hop for years. But ever since Young Dolph's murder back in 2021, the label's name has been stuck in a digital storm. To be clear, there are no official charges or confirmed ties between CMG and the case. But that hasn't stopped the internet from digging. Hip-hop blogs, YouTubers, Reddit threads, and X, formerly Twitter commentators, have flooded timelines with theory after theory. Some built on old beefs, some just straight-up guesses. And the noise keeps getting louder. Some of the online theories, pure speculation. But one thing's at the center of it all: the long-running feud between Young Dolph and Yo Gotti. Their beef goes way back, and it reportedly got worse after Yo Gotti allegedly tried to sign Dolph to CMG, only to get curved publicly. That move? It didn't sit right, and tensions only grew from there. Things hit a dangerous peak in 2017, when Dolph's bulletproof SUV got lit up with over 100 shots in Charlotte, North Carolina. Local outlets and a Charlotte-Mecklenburg police statement revealed that Yo Gotti was briefly labeled a person of interest, mostly because of how loud and public the beef had become. But Gotti was quickly cleared. No charges, no case. However, CMG artist Black Youngsta was arrested over that same shooting. He was slapped with multiple felonies, but by 2019, all charges were dropped due to lack of evidence. Still, even as the legal side faded, the internet never let go. After Govan's 2022 indictment, YouTube and TikTok turned into full-blown detective zones. Bloggers started digging up old IG lives, breaking down CMG lyrics, and matching up names tied to Govan's circle. It was like a digital manhunt, and it hasn't stopped since. One viral video had fans buzzing after a YouTuber claimed Govan may have had past ties to folks loosely connected to CMG, though, again, no official investigation has ever confirmed that link. Still, the speculation caught fire. Things only got wilder when internet sleuths started noticing low-key moves, like big-name artists unfollowing each other, some CMG voices going strangely quiet, and a sudden drop in the label's usual flashy presence online. For a crew known for running up charts and flooding feeds with wins, the silence? It was screaming. Fans started clocking every little thing, from who didn't speak on the case to who suddenly stopped posting. It felt like a digital blackout. Let's keep it straight, though. No court has ever tied CMG, its boss, or any of its artists to Young Dolph's murder. There have been no subpoenas, no arrests, no official accusations, nothing. But in the court of public opinion, a whole other trial is happening. People are drawing their own conclusions, connecting past rap beefs, old lyrics, online patterns, and most of all, Yo Gotti's silence. One fan even said, "I hate to say it, man. Somebody gotta ask. Somebody gotta go down." Whether these theories hold up in court is still unknown. But one thing's crystal clear. The streets are watching, and they've already built their own story. CMG isn't just caught in the middle of a rap beef anymore. It's become a symbol in a bigger cultural storm that's spilling way past music. Chapter 5. The day Young Dolph was killed. How it all went down. November 17th, 2021. It was just after noon when Young Dolph, born Adolph Thornton Jr., pulled up to Makita's homemade butter cookies, a beloved black-owned spot in South Memphis. This wasn't just some random stop for him. Dolph had been showing love to that bakery for years. He supported the owners, promoted their business, and made it a point to shine a light on the community. He had stopped by just days earlier. But on that Wednesday, what should have been a regular visit turned into a deadly ambush. Surveillance footage would later capture the moment a white Mercedes-Benz pulled up near the storefront. Within seconds, two masked men jumped out, both strapped with automatic weapons. They didn't hesitate. They opened fire through the glass like it was war, unleashing dozens of rounds with chilling precision. No warning, no words, just a brutal, calculated hit that rocked the city and left one of Memphis's biggest stars gunned down in broad daylight. Dolph was hit multiple times, and surveillance confirmed the heartbreaking truth. He never even got the chance to shoot back. He died right there inside Makita's, still holding on to his order, without a second to react, just 36 years old. Memphis was shattered. And so was the world of hip-hop. This wasn't some random street beef. It wasn't a robbery gone wrong. This was a cold, calculated execution, carried out in broad daylight in the city he repped and loved. The boldness and violence of it all shook Memphis to its core. Fans, artists, and even rivals were stunned. Within hours, Memphis PD dropped images of the suspected shooters and the white Mercedes-Benz they rolled up in. Security cam footage showed two masked men in hoodies, armed with assault rifles, firing like they had one goal: take Dolph out. Police got moving fast. But so did the internet. Hip-hop bloggers, Twitter detectives, and Memphis locals started zooming in on every detail: shoes, clothes, even the car rims, trying to crack who these men were. That same white Benz was later found ditched behind an empty house in South Memphis. But here's the twist. That car was already wanted in connection with another shooting in Covington, Tennessee. That meant one thing. This ride wasn't just a getaway car. It had history. Weeks after the shooting, police made their first major move, arresting Justin Johnson, better known in the streets as Straight Drop. A Memphis rapper with a history in the city's music scene and prior run-ins with the law, Johnson was hit with a first-degree murder charge. Not long after, Cornelius Smith was also taken into custody and indicted. But the real shocker came months later, when authorities dropped the name nobody expected: Hernandez Govan. Govan wasn't one of the shooters. He wasn't caught on camera. but prosecutors say he's the one who set it all in motion. According to Shelby County DA Steve Mulroy, Govan allegedly orchestrated the whole hit, putting the plan together and handing out the orders. Court docs confirmed it. 3 charges: first-degree murder, attempted first-degree murder, and conspiracy to commit first-degree murder. This twist changed everything. It wasn't just 2 men acting on their own. It pointed to something bigger, a deeper setup, a murder that wasn't just violent, but strategic. The case now looked like a high-level conspiracy, with layers of planning that reached beyond street beef. Young Dolph's death wasn't just the loss of an independent rap legend. It was a wake-up call, a cold, calculated hit that exposed how deep things really go behind the curtain in the rap game. This wasn't some heat-of-the-moment street fight. It was planned, structured, and cold-blooded. And with that kind of setup, the real question becomes, who else knew? Who else played a part? And why? Chapter 6. Trial twists. Testimonies, witnesses, and one name that's still missing. As the trial over Young Dolph's murder plays out inside a Memphis courtroom, it's clear this case is far from simple. The legal road has been bumpy, filled with last-minute curveballs, shaky witnesses, and behind-the-scenes moves that keep shifting the whole tone of the case. Several key witnesses expected to testify suddenly backed off. Some changed their stories. Others straight up refused to speak. A few even invoked their Fifth Amendment rights, choosing silence over statements. And in one intense moment, a witness, believed to have info about private conversations between the suspects, was reportedly placed in protective custody. That bombshell sent the courtroom into a frenzy. Observers say it added even more mystery to a trial already drowning in questions. The vibe in court, tense and unpredictable. Meanwhile, prosecutors aren't just relying on word of mouth. They're leaning hard on digital receipts. Cell tower pings, phone logs, and text chains have all been used to link Hernandez Govan, Justin Johnson, aka Straight Drop, and Cornelius Smith in the crucial days before Young Dolph was gunned down. The evidence might be high-tech, but the energy in court is straight out of a crime thriller. Prosecutors aren't just trying to show involvement. They're aiming to prove this was premeditated and coordinated, a full-on blueprint for murder. But for many watching the trial unfold, the biggest twist isn't what's being said. It's what's not being said. There's one name that's been completely missing from official court talk: Yo Gotti. Despite years of well-documented beef between Dolph and Gotti's circle, from diss tracks to interview shade to street whispers, Gotti's name has never been brought up in any public courtroom statements, filings, or official documents. No charges, no testimony, no mentions in transcripts available to the public. To some fans, that silence speaks volumes. They say it clears Gotti completely, showing he had nothing to do with it and that the internet's gone too deep into conspiracy mode. But others, they're not buying it. To them, the silence feels a little too perfect, maybe even strategic. YouTube analysts and online commentators have floated the idea that names are being kept quiet on purpose, maybe sealed evidence or details being held back for legal reasons. And that theory only got louder after a tense moment in court. During a pretrial hearing, reporters noted that prosecutors suddenly asked for a private sidebar. Off the record. No explanation. Just whispers. And even more questions. That mysterious sidebar? It reportedly involves sealed federal cooperation. But the real details? Still under wraps. The courtroom fell completely silent for several minutes, and no one saying what was discussed. But for folks watching closely, that quiet moment felt heavy. Like something big was lurking just beneath the surface. Then came a major twist during an earlier pretrial hearing in 2023. A witness suddenly brought up the name Big Juke, Yo Gotti's older brother, real name Anthony Mims. According to that brief mention, one of the accused reportedly claimed Big Juke had put a $100,000 bounty on Young Dolph's head. That allegation? It caused chaos in the room. The moment Juke's name came up, both the judge and the prosecution jumped in with an immediate sidebar, shutting things down fast. The topic was never brought back to open court, and no official follow-up ever came. Then in January 2024, just months later, tragedy struck. Big Juke was fatally shot outside Perignon restaurant in Memphis right after leaving a funeral. Cops confirmed the killing and called it a targeted hit. No suspects have been named. No motive has been released. But the timing? Too close for comfort. The streets were already buzzing, and this just took the speculation to a whole new level. The timing of Big Juke's death, so close to the trial and right after his name got mentioned in court, set the internet on fire. Was it just a coincidence, a retaliation move, or something way deeper? Reddit threads exploded. YouTube sleuths dropped breakdowns. Twitter was flooded with theories connecting everything: the courtroom silence, those sealed records, and Juke's sudden murder. Even though authorities haven't confirmed any connection between Juke's killing and the Dolph trial, the back-to-back events had people asking serious questions. Inside the courtroom, tension's been running high. Observers say things get extra tense when witnesses are questioned about broader affiliations or deeper links beyond just the three main suspects. And each time the conversation drifts too far, the judge reportedly steps in, keeping a tight grip on what can and can't be said in open court. So far, no formal evidence has tied anyone else to the crime beyond the three men already indicted: Hernandez Govan, Justin Johnson, aka Straight Drop, and Cornelius Smith. But those sealed federal documents, they've kept the door open for more. Meanwhile, the defense is fighting back hard. They keep pushing the idea that Govan wasn't the mastermind at all, calling the state's theory weak and full of holes. The battle in that courtroom is far from over. While the legal system moves at its own pace, the public is still locked in, watching, waiting, hungry for answers. But deep down, many know the full truth might still be buried, hidden behind redacted documents, sealed files, and careful courtroom strategies. One observer said it best after a tense hearing: sometimes the loudest part of a trial is the silence. And this trial, it's far from over. And so is this story. Chapter 7, The Streets Talk, Fans, Bloggers, and the Danger of Speculation. Outside the courtroom, there's a whole different kind of trial happening. In barbershops, group chats, IG lives, YouTube live streams, and on digital corners everywhere, fans are playing detective. They're dissecting lyrics, breaking down timelines, digging through interviews, and matching street talk with court evidence. Bloggers have turned into full-blown investigators. Some have gone so far with their theories, they've received cease and desist letters from lawyers tied to CMG. But the conversations, they haven't stopped. They won't stop. People keep asking, was this just local street drama? A label war that got out of hand? Or was Dolph's success as an independent artist shaking up a system too used to control? Whatever the real answer is, one thing's for sure: Young Dolph is gone. His family is still searching for justice. The trial rages on, and the silence surrounding key figures, it's louder than ever, echoing through Memphis, the music industry, and every corner of the culture. If you made it this far, make sure to like this video, subscribe, and hit that notification bell, because this story isn't done. And we'll be right here, breaking it all down as it unfolds.